All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Global Reality, right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. This is the Monday, April 17th, 2017 edition of the broadcast. Thank you much for being here with me tonight for the broadcast. Very much appreciated. I have not done any other shows other than this month for the past 2 weeks since the 1st of April because I've been working every single minute and day on my newest film, The Spellcasters 1.5. And, man, is every time I make any kind of film, it's always a lot of work. I've always talked about that, especially when you're a one-man show like me and you do every element of it. It is so much work, and people, there's just no way of. It's funny how long 2 minutes, you work. Sometimes you'll work fucking 2 weeks or something and get 15 minutes of video or whatever it may be. But I've only done a 1.5 thing like this ever once before, and it's not something I normally do. But that was for the Secret Ride Volume 1. But that was just, it really wasn't a full-fledged film. That was just a sort of a, I don't know if you can hear that creaking sound. I apologize. I got this office chair. Man, I need a new office chair. Office chairs are so fucking expensive. It's like $300 to get a fucking office chair, man. God. Anyway, I've had this office chair for it's so old. It needs to be thrown out. I need a new one, but I've needed a new one for about 3 years. But anyway, I apologize if you hear that creaking there. I tried it. Usually it's not this bad, but anyway, I did the 1.5 thing for Secret Ride Volume 1, but that wasn't a film. That was just cutting room floor stuff that didn't make it into the film, that wasn't film worthy. But I still wanted to put it out there. This is not that. Spellcasters 1.5 is actually, in its own right, its own film. Because there's so much information and even new stuff that I've learned since, making Volume 1, because that's the problem. Literally, it's the problem with every single movie I've ever made. Because at some point, you have to say no more, literally with Spellcasters 1, there was literally information in there that was coming out within days of the movie, me being close to being done with the movie. And I'm going back and adding this stuff, and eventually you just have to go, look, you know what I mean? Because if you play that game over and over again, then it's just going to be, you're never going to be done. You're constantly just going to keep finding new stuff, and you're like, oh, that needs to go in there. So at some point, I have to call it. I just had to be like, okay, that's it. I don't give a fuck if, well, I do, but you get but even if the biggest bombshell comes out between, tomorrow, I won't be able to put it in there because at some point you have to call it, you have to cut it off. And it's difficult to do that, especially when you're somebody like me who wants to get everything in there that you possibly can, but it's just impossible. You just have to realize at some point you're never going to get everything in there. But it's difficult to make other people understand that, because as soon as they find something that's not in there, they think you have some agenda for not putting it in there, or you're not smart enough to have found that piece of information. I get accused of both of those things with certain pieces of information sometimes. Oh, you didn't see this, you missed this. I'm like, no, I saw it. But, again, it's impossible. There's no way, no matter who it is, not me or anybody, could ever get every single piece of information about all this stuff into one presentation. And again, that's what I've always said, why it's important, for you to do your own research, because you are going to find things. I've always said that to people about all my films. And, you absolutely, they're designed that way. You always are going to find other stuff. In fact, I even realized tonight there was a little thing, nothing major, but a little thing I wanted to put in Spellcasters 1.5 that I forgot about, but I'm not going to go back and put it in there now because it's done. It wasn't anything big or major, but just, something that it's just another piece of thing that already proves what we've really already proven time and time again, over and over again, about us, about what they're doing, what's going on. Anyway, Spellcasters 1.5, man, I'm not even going to, I'm exhausted, honestly. I'm not promising you this is going to be a full-fledged show here. I'm just going to talk to you about some of this stuff, and got some other points I want to bring up here about some stuff going on, but I'm exhausted. I need just like a day off just to relax, because we just had the holiday weekend. Everybody's been holidaying it up, and except me. I didn't have any Easter, any fucking, I don't celebrate that fucking bullshit anyway, but still, I didn't have any kind of time off like everybody else. I've been working. I was working. I pulled all-nighter yesterday and worked until this morning. I was just bound and determined to get it done and get it up. So that's what I did. I got it. I worked all night and into the morning, got it finished, got it uploaded, posted links, and crashed fucking hard. But I really, I wouldn't have done this if it wasn't necessary. And if you've seen Volume 1 of Spellcasters, when you see this 1.5, after you watch the whole thing, you're going to feel the same way that I feel now about why it needed to be done. It won't make sense until you see it. That's all I can say. And I'm not going to overhype it. I'm not going to fucking scream, but all I can tell you is I can't even put it into words. It's highly, highly valuable information that you need to see. And, I suggest every one of you go and get yourself a download of this thing right now from the download shop. It'll be exclusively available in the download shop. That's where it's the only place you'll be able to get it as there. It's 76 minutes. It's just a couple minutes shy of an hour and 20 minutes. So it's almost, an hour and 20 minutes for a lot of people, folks, is a full-length film, believe it or not. People are spoiled by my shits because I make fucking 3-hour fucking epics, and fucking Lost Secrets of Ancient America Volume 1 was almost 4 hours. So, believe it or not, an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half or so is a full-length movie for most people. But, so already between, because I like I said, I thought about taking the information and trying to shoehorn it into fucking Volume 1, but look, we've been talking about over a 4-hour movie. It would have made Volume 1, because Volume 1's was like 2 hours, 45 minutes, something like that. So add another hour 20 onto that, man. You're pushing fucking 4 hours. And I won't make that mistake again. I did that with Lost Secrets of Ancient America Volume 1. Is a fucking nightmare. But it's a nightmare because then you can't get the file, the download file, down to a size and a quality small enough for people to download. We've done all right with that, and then DVDs, you have to go to fucking dual layer DVDs, and not everybody's player will play those. And so you get a lot of defective discs. It's just a nightmare. So I won't ever do that again as far as discs. Now, that's not to say I won't make any more 4-hour movies, but they'll be broken up and, over that. But this, and then I was thinking about, well, I could put this information in Volume 2, but there's no way. Volume 2 is its own unique, different thing. It wouldn't have even fit. It would have been stupid, and it would have made that movie probably 6 hours long. So, I had no choice. I tried to shoehorn it into Volume 1, push it over 4 hours, put it into Volume 2 where it doesn't fit, and then make that movie fucking ungodly long, or make its own standalone film for this, which is what I did. So I want to be clear, and I want people to understand, this is not cutting room floor stuff here with Spellcasters 1.5. This is not like stuff like you normally get from people where it's just throwaway stuff, or stuff that didn't make it off the cutting room floor. There is vital information up to the minute, stuff that's just now coming out, making it into this thing. And you got to remember when it came out, it was before the elections. So a lot has happened since the elections. A lot of stuff has transpired, and a lot of stuff's gone on. A lot more stuff has been revealed with Scientology. We get into extensively into the free zone stuff in this, more free zone stuff in this than anybody's ever presented anywhere else. Lots of free zone information. There are a couple of things in there I'm not going to mention on air right now. There's some blockbusters. There's especially something towards the end of this thing. Was something I just discovered in the past week or so as I was making this film that is a fucking bombshell deal sealer for the false flag alien invasion scenario thing. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And as I say in the film, I'm shocked that I'd never heard anybody else talk about this thing that I found. I never, no other. This thing that I found should be something that all people who've ever talked about, the false flag alien invasion scenario and whatever else, this. I mean, this is like a fucking smoking gun, and it's just been sitting there. And I looked and never was able to find any other, researchers, truthers, conspiracy theorists, anybody talking about this fucking episode of this particular thing that I've got in the film. And as I say in the film, I say, well, at first I wondered why I never heard anybody talk about this, but now that I know what I know about the phony control conspiracy movement, it all makes sense. So anyway, that's going to blow you away. We've got some clips from a vintage. It's got to be the very first sort of expose on Scientology. We've got tons of stuff in there, and it's just after it was done and I watched through it, it really made me realize it really. So glad that I decided to do this because it really ties everything that's in Volume 1 up in a much better way, I think, than Volume 1 does just by itself on its own. It really is the perfect sort of cherry on top, if you will. And I know you're going to get that and understand that when you watch it because, like I said, oftentimes these kind of 1.5 things or whatever, they're usually cutting room floor stuff, and they're not information that's on par with, whatever its sequel or predecessor was, rather. So that's definitely the deal here. And I've worked nonstop for the past 2 weeks now on this thing, and I'm just beat. I'm spent, and I've got to get back on the horse to do Volume 2. And I mean, that's the amount of work I'm going to have to do for Volume 2 is just, it's insurmountable almost. It's every time I tell you, I get this way, every time I make a film, I think, what the fuck did I get myself into? What the fuck? I really, because it's just difficult to make, something like this. It's totally different than just doing this, just doing this, getting up here and talking. I mean, there's nothing to this. Well, I mean, it has its own things. I mean, I still have to get inspired and gut it up, and I have to, psych myself up to get up here and do this because I'm not a big talker. Contrary to what people might think, people think that because I'm up here talking on a show or something, and I'm a big talker, chatty Cathy, and I run my fucking mouth all the time, and this is not the case. It's not the case at all. But anyway, this 1.5 was very much necessary and very much important in this grand scope picture. There's some stuff in there, folks. I mean, again, I'm not going to overhype it. I don't want to overhype it. I'll talk more and probably will hype it more in the next couple of weeks after it's been out there and have people have time to watch it and download it and everything. But all I can tell you is that I never dreamed this was as big as it, especially even when I was doing the secret right stuff. I knew that with exposing the Council for National Policy thing, that was something that, I knew it was big. And I knew it was something that didn't get talked about and got left out of the conversation of conspiracy research on purpose and by design because of, obviously, with the connections. But this stuff now, man, especially with with what we've already covered in Volume 1 of the Spellcasters and what we're seeing here in 1.5. I mean, it really, it's beyond me, folks. Anybody that has ever listened to this show and is, I've been here for 10 years doing this on the air and researching over 25 years. And one of the things that I never, ever do, and I refuse to do because that's what the game of Jones and the rest of these fucking chills, I don't ever, ever use fear to try to, present this information or get this information across to you. Look, you can find a million things to scare you. Why would you want? I just have never gotten that. I've never understood why someone. The only reason anybody ever does it is because fear sells. Just like sex sells. It's a big thing. It sells. And so this is when you get, the Chicken Littles, the skies falling people, and Alex Jones and others who constantly, the end of the world, the end of the world's coming next week, martial law's coming tomorrow, every other fucking week. This drill is going to be a false flag is going to happen here, nothing happens. The Biru's coming. I mean, every other fucking week, it's something, right? And I've just always instinctively, when I've seen that, I've always known that was definitely created to cause misdirection so that people eventually, again, just like the Chicken Little thing, sky's falling, people come run, the sky's not falling. And then when it actually is, no one reacts. And then a bunch of people are going to get killed because after people have been propagandized and fear-mongered for so long, eventually they just break down. They're just like, well, I'm not listening to that, And then that time when you ignore it is when you should be paying attention. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we're in real trouble. I mean, I don't just mean like me and this broadcaster, my work or whatever. I mean, in general, as a whole, as people, I know a lot of you are going, yeah, well, I know that. Or no. I think you know that. But I don't think you really, truly understand the immensity of what I have uncovered here. Believe me, I mean, I've been getting anonymous emails and shit like that for a few years. You don't know what you stumbled upon with this. You need to stop. Shit like that, for real. I mean, all this stuff, man, the Scientology stuff, CIA stuff, Jones, all of it, man, this stuff is bigger than you can imagine. And I think you're going to get, without giving it away and stuff, I think you're going to get a very good impression of that here with volume 1.5. So go and get it. Go get it right now. It's in our download shop. If you don't know how to find the download shop and you're listening to this on YouTube, well, we'll have links there in the little read more section of the video where you can find it. But for you others who never seem to be able to find my download shop, I every day, I can't find your download shop for Spellcasters. It says it's on pre-order. No, the discs are on pre-order because the discs have not been manufactured yet because we are still waiting on artwork, which I have talked to the artist, and it's coming very, very soon. So discs are going to be coming imminent within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Hopefully. I'm just going to add that hopefully. He said this before, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be getting it real soon. Go to my website, theglobalreality.com. Right in the middle of the page, it says the Global Reality Shop. Right below where it says pre-order, Global Reality Shop. Purchase all of Josh Reeves' available documentaries, including the latest volume of The Lost Secrets of Ancient America, along with all the audiobooks. Now, that's what perplexes me. I don't get how somebody can go, they see the thing where it says pre-order, but yet they don't see the thing underneath it that says shop. It's just one click. Boom, there you are. Every single day. Not kidding, every day. Every day. Every day I get that email. Every day I get this email. I'm coming to Texas and I want to come and have you take me to see the rock wall. I mean, every fucking day. Every fucking day. I'll say it again. It's buried. It's buried under the town. There's nothing you can see. Yes, there's little loose stones that they pulled from an old 1976 dig they put out in front of the little old courthouse, but it's crap because they didn't even stack the stones up right. The mortar's all facing out the wrong way. I mean, they just threw them up there and threw cement on them and cemented them together. They didn't even keep the stones intact. There's nothing to see. You can't go see the rock wall. It's buried. The only way to see the rock wall is to do a massive archaeological dig and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. We tried. We couldn't raise enough money to do that. it's always been the problem here. I've been on the cutting edge of all this research the past 10 years. There's so many opportunities we've had and stuff that we've missed strictly because we just don't get the funding that we need to do this stuff. I mean, we barely scrape by every single month, and which makes my next thing I want to bring up here even more fucking disgusting. Have you guys heard? It's all in the news today. I'm sure a lot of you probably heard. Pretty interesting stuff. Alex Jones, who already went through quite a public divorce, is now going through a very public custody battle. And it made a lot of big news today. And it's interesting. What's interesting about this fascinating stuff. It really is fascinating stuff. And, I've seen this coming for a long time. I said this years ago. Years ago, I said this. I said, if Jones is a shill and he is, in fact, a paid agent of whoever it may be, Scientology, CIA, all of the above, then eventually, just like they do with any operation, eventually they'll be done with him and they'll toss him. Once he doesn't have any use for them anymore, they'll toss him aside and they'll have scandals and this and drag him out through the media and he'll have anybody that has a very public rise like he has had always has a very public fall, and those are the people you always know are controlled by the elite themselves. But listen, if he walks away from this, then for a fact he's even beyond what we already know he is. But so he's going through this custody battle with his ex-wife for custody of their 3 kids aged 9, 12, and 14. And his defense that his lawyer is using in court, this is fascinating. His defense is that his on air, the way that he acts and the things that he says on his radio show is just a persona, and it's just an act, and that doesn't in any way reflect who he is in any way, shape, or form. I mean, how many years has that motherfucker? I mean, you can see the clips. The clips are even in like my film, Cigarette Volume 2. Purest pedigree, folks. I'm of the purest pedigree. My family goes back to the Mayflower. Purest pedigree. So that's all of that. So again, I mean, he's sending a very strong message that, basically confirms what we've already known. He's a bag of hot wind. Nothing that comes out of his mouth in any way should be construed or taken as fact or truth or anything else. And you got to remember, this is in a court, ladies and gentlemen. This is under oath, under threat of persecution of perjury if he lies. His defense that they are using is that he's playing a character. Quote, this is a direct quote from his attorney. A direct quote from Alex Jones' attorney in his litigation with his ex-wife over the custody of their children. Quote, he's playing a character and is nothing like his online persona. Yet he's gone out of his way, and he goes out of his way in every show to convince people otherwise. I'm real. I'm the real deal. I'm the big enchilada. I'm on the cutting edge. So, I mean, it's very interesting. I'll tell you another interesting thing. He first he had his divorce filings, and it says that every record in the Jones case has been under seal since the divorce proceeding was initiated in Hays County in 2013. In January, the court denied Kelly Jones' motion to unseal the record, granting a motion by Alex Jones, or simply AJ, as he is known in all court filings, to keep them sealed. Now, I'm no lawyer, And I don't claim to know everything there is to know about the law. But I'm pretty certain that in any sort of official court documentation, you can't just, like, now I understand some people go by the name like, JR, or whatever have you. But look, all the official court filings have him simply listed as simply AJ. It doesn't say Alex Jones in any of it, just says AJ. From what I know about legal proceedings and legal court filings, they cross every I and dot every T in terms of identifying who the plaintiff, who the defendant is, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. The fact that they would have these court proceedings and these divorce meetings sealed, usually that kind of stuff is always for public record. For his stuff, it's sealed. But I mean, we already know a lot of it. He pays his ex-wife $43,000 a month. He gave her the $1 million home that he had, and he pays her $43,000 a month, and he has an estimated net worth of $5 million. Look, folks, I'm here to tell you, anybody that's got that kind of money did not get that stuff from making conspiracy movies and doing conspiracy radio shows, okay? $43,000 a month he pays to his ex-wife. How many of you out there make $43,000 a year or more? Probably a lot. Probably some, but probably not a whole lot. He not $43,000 a year. He pays her $43,000 a month. I mean, that's some serious CIA Scientology money right there, ladies and gentlemen. And the fact that he would have, he would be referred to as by two initials. You know what I mean? Think about that. I mean, if I was getting divorced, they wouldn't put, like, no fucking way in hell. I mean, not only this is taking place in Texas, so this is in my state, so I know how this stuff works here. No fucking way in hell are they putting somebody's name in every single court document. Not ever putting their full name on any court document once, only putting on there, like their initials. That to me smells like that ain't his real name. And probably has never been his real name, and probably he's been, cooked up, concocted, and created from the very beginning, as a lot of these operatives are. And the fact they wanted to keep all that stuff sealed. And not only that, they have the judge placed gag orders on both his wife and Alex Jones. Now, that's convenient for Alex Jones, because then if anybody asks him about any of this stuff, then he legally can't comment it on a radio show or an interview or anything else, because he's had a gag order. Both him and his wife have had gag orders placed on them. Now, again, this stuff is just really wild and crazy for a standard divorce custody battle. It really, really is. And she's trying to get an additional $7 million emotional distress on it. You know what? Maybe I need to let me talk to Violet real quick. Hey, say, baby girl. Tell you what, this is Big Josh talking to you. Why don't you give me a call, baby girl? Give me go out. Yeah. Me and you hook up. Boy, that'd be some shit, wouldn't it? That's what I'll do. I'd go get with Jones' ex-wife. Boy, that'd be some shit. He'd shit himself, wouldn't he? He'd have a goddamn coronary. Kids, meet your new stepdad, Josh Reeves. Oh my God, I'm having a fucking heart attack myself. I gotta stop. Oh fuck, that just makes me about piss myself. Oh goddamn, I'm out of breath. Oh, come on, baby girl. Come holler at a brother. I'll show you a good time. No bullshit though. She actually, back before I was on air, Back when they were still married. This was probably 2005, 2006, maybe somewhere in there. She actually came. I don't know if it was one I was at. She actually came to one of the we used to do 9/11 Truth stuff back then, 2005, 2006. We used to go to Dealey Plaza and pass out DVDs. We passed out 1 year, I think 2006, we passed out 300,000, something like that, in 1 year. 300,000 fucking DVD 9/11 Truth DVDs in Dealey Plaza for the course of a whole year, you know. But she showed up one time. She drove all the way from Austin. That's what she said. Jones wasn't with her. She drove all the way to Austin to just like, even though I wasn't suspicious of them at the time, it did seem weird. It seems like they were checking up on, it seemed like intel gathering to me. I kept my mouth shut and didn't say anything, but she just came up and like saw what we were doing, you know, hey guys, you know, blah, blah, I'm Violet Jones. She came up and talked to everybody, introduced, you know, just want to see, you know, what you guys had going on up here in Dallas with 9/11 stuff. All right, good job. See you later. And I just thought it was odd. I was like, because, I mean, a trip from Austin to Dallas is it's not a quick trip, man. It's like a 4-hour drive, 4.5 hours. I mean, you know, it's a haul. Nobody's going to drive all the way to Dallas from Austin, hop out of the car, be here for 5 minutes and hop it back in the fucking car and haul ass and drive back. Nobody's going to do that. Not unless they're, you know, there was something about that. I think it was just intel gathering and everything else. But, now Jones also, I think he's under investigation from the FBI as well for connections to Russia, which I talked about years and years ago when nobody wanted to hear it, when all the truth movement people were all going on Russia Today, KGBO news outlet. I mean, he's being investigated by that. He's also got, I don't know if anything is coming to that Pizzagate thing. I know he backed down from it and fucking apologized because they were threatening to sue him. And it's, you know, yet again, another one of those disinfo things that I had people trying to get me to bite on that I knew was bullshit from the didn't bite on it, didn't go for. I mean, I can't tell you how many times it's happened. I can't even think of all the examples. There's been so many in the 10 years since I've been on air of stuff that comes out and everybody's convinced it's real. And I'm the one and only naysayer that's saying, no, not believing it. Then everybody comes down on me because, you know, well, Josh Reeves doesn't believe it, so he's a chill and blah, 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 whatever. Every fucking time, one of the many, many things. And I had a guy get aggro with me not too long ago because it was hilarious. I had no idea. He sent me this piece of info of some video. And I didn't even watch it, dude. That I saw the title and I went, this is, he's like, you have to watch this. It's going to change what you know. With this, and I'm like, I saw the title and I was like, this sounds like horse shit. I'm like, I emailed the guy. I said, look, man, I don't have time for this. I didn't even watch this. I looked at the title and I can tell you that I will bet you $100 that motherfucker is about flat earth. The dude emailed me back and was like, well, yeah, it's about the flat earth. I'm like, oh, really? No. Dude, I fucking knew it. It didn't say anything about flat earth or anything on this video. The title had nothing to do with it at all. I just knew it had something to do with that. Because anytime anybody like tells me, and again, I don't claim to know everything, and I don't claim to be perfect or any of that. But what I can claim is that I work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at this, and I have for a long time. And I put in more hours doing this than most people have put in hours at whatever they're, you know, unless you're a brain surgeon, you've been doing brain surgery for 30 years, okay, you probably got me beat. But listen, I put in the fucking hours, dude. I've put in the work. I've put in the time. And I get this. I just have a sixth sense sort of discernment for that kind of crap. Because that's one of the things that flat earth, the satellites aren't real. Satellites don't exist. They've never existed, even though I've seen them and you could see them moving through the night sky. I did when I used to sleep on trampolines with friends and you could see them. And planets are holograms. Planets don't exist. They're really holograms. So when I went up to the Mars Hill Observatory in Flagstaff, Arizona a few years ago and looked through these fucking telescopes that are the size of a goddamn school bus, and saw the rings of Jupiter, like for real, dude, like up close. It was incredible. Incredible. That was all holograms I was looking at. Okay. Anyway, somebody sent me this, and they got all fucking uppity and butthurt with me, calling me everything but a motherfucker because I was right. Because I didn't even have to fucking watch it, and I fucking knew already from just looking at the title of this thing that it was some bullshit disinfo that somebody's trying to get me to bite on. And you wouldn't believe how many times this happens, man. People do this to me all the time. And they do it because it works with a lot of these other assholes that have no discernment. And any sensationalist thing that sounds like it might fit with the narrative that they've already, described to their listenership, they jump all over it. And that's just not me. I've never been that guy, and I've never had to be. Because every time I do a project, whether it's The Secret Rite or whether it's Lost Secrets of Ancient America or it's now The Spellcasters, I obviously have my impetus and my inspiration or the things that I've discovered in my research that make me want to do these particular films on these subjects. But ultimately, every single time, once I'm in the project and I'm putting it together and I'm making it, it's like a flood. It's just boom, 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 one right after another. You find one thing, you find one piece of information, you find another. You look over here, you're researching it, you're going and reading, you're fact checking your stuff before you write it and put it in the script and finalize it to do the voiceover. And as you're doing that, you're just, something else comes up. You're not even planning on it. So I don't have to jump all over and find things that, and look for things to make them fit into some narrative that I'm trying to portray. It just does it on its own, and that's how you know you're on the right path. Because, as soon as I get on a path of making a film, and I get into it and I dedicate myself to it, it just comes to me. But we are in, I can't even put it into words. I don't think people quite realize just, and of course that's what it's all been about. Of course, nobody realizes just how deep and how menacing and how insane this stuff is. Because we've been sold since the Kennedy assassination. We've been sold this, what appears to be the truth, this fake truth, supplied by these people who are funded by the people who want there to be versions of the truth that people believe that aren't the real truth. It's insanity. But this stuff with Jones and Scientology and the rest of it, again, as I say in the film, I'm a fucking, it really, when I got to making 1.5, when I was making it, really made me realize, I don't know. I don't know what the word is. Not how alone I am in the sense of oh, I'm alone and, I don't have somebody in my life. I don't mean that. I'm talking about in terms of being able to understand the wide scope of this and really what it means to the future of people on this planet. These people, man, this is beyond just a mind control cult with Scientology, and this is beyond just somebody like Alex Jones who's, a sold out huckster to the man who gets paid millions of dollars to lie. It's beyond those things. And I know that those things have seemed sort of like the crux of the issue up to this point, but it's even beyond that. The reason that all this stuff exists is even beyond what I even thought. And these people, it sounds, every time It's funny, man. I can understand this stuff. I can wrap my mind around it. But sometimes when I have to actually voice it and express it, right when it's about to come out of my mouth, it's almost like I can't let it leave my mouth because it sounds so goddamn ridiculous. It is. Again, I can wrap my mind around. I can understand it, but as you're about to say the words, like I'm about to say, folks, these people. This is not just about taking over and taking over a country or taking over a, installing a puppet president or something. These people. It's not even about. It's beyond even a new world order or any of that. These motherfuckers want to conquer the galaxy. I can't even believe that came out of my mouth. It sounds so preposterous and ridiculous. But who in the human race on planet Earth would even believe they have the ability to do that? Much less to have that as a goal. That's what they're doing. And you got Trump and Farrakhan and Jones and the Scientology. These motherfuckers are all lined up in the same corner, and they are amassing an army, ladies and gentlemen. And it's not an army to take over the elite and destroy the New World Order. No, no, no. It's an army that's amassing to do away with anybody that's not like them. That's what's going on here. That's what all this has been about. I can't even put it into words. It's even beyond that. Even that doesn't even see. It doesn't matter how much I describe it or how many descriptive words I use. I still can't put it into words exactly what these people are doing. All I can tell you is that the whole everything, the whole conspiracy thing, dude, all of it. I mean, I've had to reevaluate seriously and look through everything that I think I know about this stuff through a different lens now. Because literally almost everything that you can, any topic or any talking point when it comes to conspiracies at this point can all be traced back to somebody who's connected to Scientology. It's insane. So I highly suggest that you do the same thing after you watch the Spellcasters and 1.5. So you got to re-examine everything you think you know about this stuff, from the Anunnaki to the Illuminati. I'll give you a good example. I didn't put this in Spellcasters 1.5 because I feel like it's been fucking. No, I don't feel like it's been. It has been. This thing's been overplayed, overused 5 million times to a point to where it's lost its meaning, and I think I now know why that's the case. And that's the not supposed, but that's the speech, the Kennedy speech about secret societies. It's been used. I swear to God, I get sick in my stomach every time I watch a video and I hear it's like every fucking body's used that goddamn thing. And that's why you've never seen me. That was another one. I've actually had people ask me about that before. Like I didn't know it exists. Like I don't know it exists, and I didn't know about it because I didn't put it in one of my movies. Well, I didn't put it in one of my fucking movies because I didn't want to be like every other stupid motherfucker that's put it in there. But I listened to it again the other night in light of the new information stuff that I've come across and researched, because as you'll see in Spellcasters 1.5, there's something in there that made me think about the whole thing that we talk about in volume 1 of Spellcasters, the whole connection to Scientology and the Kennedy assassination. Which brings this whole thing of the phony controlled truth movement and being controlled and created by Scientology from day one even more into focus. The handwriting samples where L. Ron Hubbard's handwriting matches up identically, forensically. Forensic examination has shown that his handwriting is exactly like the handwriting that matches Lee Harvey Oswald's handwriting on these notes that Lee Harvey Oswald supposedly wrote. And then, of course, Kennedy raided Scientology, had all their e-meters confiscated and all that stuff. But it got me, and I listened to that secret society speech, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. Ever since that, and I can remember the first place I heard that speech at was on Alex Jones's show. And I'd wondered why I'd never heard that before. This was like 2005, 2006. I'd wondered why, it seemed kind of obscure. And, of course, everybody that's ever played that clip or talked about it always has their own belief or their own opinion on who exactly it is that he's talking about. And I've seen everything. I've seen people, he's talking about the Rothschilds here. He's talking about the Central European bankers here. He's talking about the Illuminati here. He's talking about the Freemasons here. Here's JFK talking about the Rosicrucians because, Sirhan was at a Rosicrucian center the night before he killed Bobby Kennedy. So, yeah, it's about them. And who he's addressing is he's addressing journalists, reporters, and media. And when I listened to this, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It dawned on me. I was like, wait a minute. We've been lied to and sold a bill of goods on this too. Think about it. Go listen to it again. And instead of, this time when you listen to it, I know you've heard it a million times, but this time, instead of automatically seeing the Freemason square and compass in your head when you hear him, or seeing the Illuminati eye in the pyramid, instead, think about Scientology. Think about the Scientology course. Think about that. Because again, he's not specific about what group he's talking about, but everybody and their mother in the conspiracy and truther realms makes these giant leaps and assumptions. Hear JFK's speech about the Illuminati. No, you're assuming that. You're assuming that. When I listen to it now, I think, in my opinion, even though I've never given an opinion about this secret society speech until now, in my opinion, when I listen to it now, especially in light of what I've known, of what I know now, what I've found in my research now, I believe he's talking about Scientology. Because, think about it, folks. The thing he specifically says is he talks about, we're opposed to secret societies, secret oaths. And he talks specifically about truth in reporting and truth not being stifled by reporting. Now, okay, let's run down the list. I challenge you to go and find any information you can find and present on Freemasons suppressing media organizations or suppressing news. Not just, this person might be a Freemason. No, 100% directly Freemasons influence. You can't find it. Doesn't exist. The Illuminati. You can't find it. Doesn't exist. Rosicrucians, OTO. Doesn't exist. Have you ever heard any stories? Of course, people say this, that, and the other, and, the major media outlets are controlled by these organizations, and all that's true. But what I mean is, there's only one organization that we know beyond any shadow of a doubt has been very, very public in attacking the media, and that is Scientology. And keeping the truth from being reported. Scientology, in fact, it's in the original Scientology documentation, even stuff that Hubbard wrote down about not talking to the media, not allowing the media to say what it wants to say about Scientology or report honestly, and stuff about how no members of, just like in these documentaries and stuff, that's why you never see anybody from current members of Scientology. Current members of Scientology are not allowed to converse with the media. That's been in there since the days of Hubbard. And it hit me like a ton of bricks, folks, when I was listening to this. I went, God damn, this too? It had just never dawned on me. That's why Alex Jones and everybody else is always, every time anybody plays that clip, they play it and try and use it in the context of whatever narrative they're trying to sell to you. He's talking about the Illuminati here. And I started thinking about it. I started listening to him. I was like, think about that. Because his whole point of bringing up the thing about secret oaths and secret societies is this idea of being opposed to secrecy and how the media should not allow the influence of these individuals and groups to do them, to allow them to keep them from doing their job and reporting the truth. And the truth should be greater than any secret oath or secret society. And that's when it fucking hit me like a ton of bricks. Fuck. No wonder they got Jones. Jones was absolutely, I'm not saying nobody knew about that clip until Alex Jones came along, but I'm telling you, I remember never hearing about that clip. And then one time it was played on Alex Jones. It was not a very good quality copy. And then later on, somebody got a much better audio version of it. And that's the one that's out there now you can get. But God damn it, it hit me like a ton of bricks, man. It made me realize, oh, fuck. It's been right there in front of my face the whole time I didn't even see it. Because that always did kind of strike me as odd. I'm like, yes, you know, if you don't know any better and you don't know anything about this deeper information, you don't know anything about the Scientology stuff, then yes, you know, anybody would make that logical jump and assumption that he's probably talking about, you know, because that's what everybody's been told. But think about it, folks. This is stuff I started figuring out a long time ago. You know, we've talked a lot of game about these groups like the Illuminati and the Freemasons, and yes, these people are involved and whatnot. But what can you really attach them to? Think about what we can actually attach to Scientology. Decades and decades of this stuff, of them pushing this material that just happens to form the basis of what people consider to be canon for conspiracy research. It's just, I mean, it really, it just dawns on me every day. I mean, again, I thought I had a handle on this stuff. Man. It's, it's big stuff, folks. And, again, I'm, you know, I'm a fucking, I'm a mouse fighting a gorilla, though. Honestly. Because there's just this stuff is, I'll never give up. That's bottom line. Number one, I'll never give up. I'll never quit. They're going to have to fucking kill me or put me in the fucking ground before I'll ever quit. That's a number one. But I also, at the same time, don't have any illusions about how fucked we are. Because, you know, had I discovered all these things that I'm discovering now and put them out there 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, right around the time before 9/11 or something, you know, we might not be. It's just now I don't know. I think we're just too far gone at this point. Because there's just so many people, in fact, almost the mass majority of it, people out there who don't want the truth, even if you've got it, even if you can prove it beyond any shadow of a doubt. Because, believe it or not, just normal, everyday, boring, regular reality is too much for some people. You start throwing all this stuff onto them, they can't even handle it. And that's exactly what they've counted on for a very long time, and it's what's allowed this stuff to continue. But I'm spent. I'm whooped. I'm tired. I need a little break before I jump back on the horse here of back into filmmaking mode. I've just put everything I've had for the past 17 days into this. So I just ask you to go and get a copy and watch it and see it and make a donation to, as well. We haven't had, my webmaster has not put our donation banner for this month for our operating costs up on the website yet, even though I sent it to him weeks ago. So I'll include that in links here for the show so you can find that. So, you know, again, go get yourself a copy, make a donation to our work if you can. Still got to reach the rest of our goal for Spellcasters too, so we can get the rest of that funded. But I think we'll get it done. Regardless of all that, folks, I don't have anything else to say. Other than, man, every time I think I got a handle on this stuff, every time I think I know what's going on, every time I think you know, it turns out to be crazier than I even imagined. Which leads me to guess that not only do not any of us, myself included, know the real whole picture of this, but whatever the whatever the real truth is behind all this stuff, It's guaranteed deeper than me or anybody else even knows. We're just scratching the surface, but the surface we're scratching here is fucking deep. So hit the download shop, get yourself a copy of 1.5, and I'm gonna have a little rest, and I'll talk to you again soon. I love you guys very much. Thank you so much for supporting me and being here with me for the past 10 years. We gotta have it. We just watch the movie. You'll understand what I mean. I ain't gonna say it. You'll understand what I mean about why we gotta have all of you in my corner now more than ever, and that's why I just want to say to you all more than ever how much I appreciate you and how much I am grateful for everybody out there. We'll see you soon. Take care.